I'm Anthony Rose, one of the deacons at Kenton Baptist, and together with my wife Barbara, we are leading this service this morning on the theme of hope. As I'm sure you realize, I am not speaking about hope as in, I hope it's going to be a nice day today, or let's hope all goes well. I am talking about biblical hope, which carries with it a sense of expectation with confidence. I am going to talk briefly about some people in the Bible who epitomize this hope. First, let me look at the Jews at one of the most important periods of their history, the exile in Babylon. God had allowed this because of their disobedience, but he had promised through the prophet Jeremiah that they would return to their homeland after 70 years. Some just ignored this promise and settled in the land, but others kept alive this hope of return. And God not only delivered on his promise, but through Cyrus even restored to the temple the treasures taken by Nebuchadnezzar. Let us stay with the Old Testament and look at Joseph. You will remember that when he was falsely imprisoned, he was asked to interpret the dreams of fellow prisoners, Pharaoh's baker and Pharaoh's cupbearer. Joseph asked the cupbearer, when he was duly restored to favor, to remember him and get him released. Doubtless Joseph had a confident hope that he would soon be freed. But this hope was in a man, and it foundered. Happily, Joseph had experienced God bring good out of evil for him before that, and so had this confident hope that finally God would free him, even though he had to wait 2 years before God did step in and free him. Now let us turn our attention to Mark's Gospel, chapter 5, where we meet the woman with the hemorrhage of blood. Just imagine her plight. She was seen as religiously unclean. She'd spent all her money on doctors and quite possibly quacks. Not only was there no improvement, she had become even worse. So she was absolutely desperate. Then she hears Jesus is in town, and hope springs up in her heart. Not the hope that maybe there is just a chance she might be healed this time, but a confident hope that if only she can just touch Jesus' cloak, she will be healed. So she struggles through the crowd, touches the hem of his garment, and is instantly healed. To her horror, Jesus then asks who touched him, and in fear and trembling, she has to own up. However, Jesus confirms her healing and encourages her. At this same time, Jairus, a ruler of the synagogue, comes to Jesus and implores him to heal his daughter who is sick. Please come and put your hand on her so that she will be healed and live. No might be, Jairus comes with that same confident hope the woman had. Even when men came to tell him that his daughter was dead, that hope did not die. He trusted Jesus, and his daughter was restored to him alive and well. What about blind Bartimaeus? Would he have continued to shout, "Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me," despite the pressure of the crowd to be silent, if he had not had this same confident hope. And of course, it was justified. Bartimaeus' prayer was granted, and then he could see. I'm sure you remember the man who had a son with an evil spirit. The disciples had been unable to rid the son of his evil spirit. So the man came to Jesus with very little hope. "But if you can do anything, take pity on us and help us," he says. "If you can," says Jesus. Jesus does not respond to this level of hope. But then Jesus adds, "Everything is possible for him who believes." To which the man replies, "I do believe. Help me overcome my unbelief." Jesus can now respond, and he does. The evil spirit is cast out, and the boy is now as normal as any other healthy youngster. Let us now look very briefly at hope beyond the here and now. Stephen, the first Christian martyr, was about to be stoned as a result of false accusations. But did he feel fear? No. He looked up to heaven where his ultimate hope was and saw it was open for him, with Jesus standing there at the right hand of God. In his speech to the Sanhedrin before he was stoned, Stephen recounted the history of Israel from the time of Abraham to that of Solomon, reminding them of how God had kept his promises despite their many failings to keep faith with God. That should have brought them encouragement and hope rather than stirring up animosity. Paul reminds us in Romans chapter 15 that the scriptures are there to give us encouragement and hope when he writes, "Everything that was written in the past was written to teach us, so that through endurance and encouragement of the scriptures we might have hope." Remember, biblical hope is rooted in reality. So we should regularly refer to the Bible to see what God has done for his people. Ultimately, of course, our hope is in Christ, and it is to his life and words that we should look for encouragement. However, let us not forget to look back over our own lives and the lives of those Christians that we have known, to see what God has done for us and for them in the past, to encourage us now in difficult times like these. So to conclude, let us ask ourselves, can we truly trust God to give us hope, whatever the circumstances? And how much evidence of hope is there in our own lives?